Hello everybody. If you want to read all the story's content in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you. Short Story 713, The Silent Phone. Upper Beginner. Ben is a taxi driver. He drives his taxi every night in the city. The city is big and bright. He knows all the streets. One rainy Tuesday night, Ben is tired. A woman gets into his taxi. She has a black coat and red hair. She does not say hello. "Where to?" Ben asks. The woman says nothing. She gives him a small white card. On the card there is an address, 47 Mercury Lane. Ben drives. The woman sits very still. She looks out of the window. The rain is loud on the car roof. Ben tries to talk. "Bad weather," he says. The woman does not answer. She looks at her phone. Her phone has no light. The screen is dark and silent. They arrive at 47 Mercury Lane. It is an old office building. All the windows are dark. No lights are on. The woman gives Ben money. Her hand is cold. She gets out of the taxi and walks to the dark door. She does not look back. Ben drives away. He looks at the money. It is old and strange. He feels uneasy. The next night the same woman gets into his taxi. Same black coat, same red hair. She gives him the same white card, 47 Mercury Lane. Again she says nothing. Again her phone is dark and silent. Again she goes into the dark building. This happens for 5 nights. On the 6th night, Ben is nervous. When the woman gets in, he says, "Why do you go to that dark place?" The woman looks at him. Her eyes are very blue. For the first time, she speaks. Her voice is a whisper. "I have to send a message." Then she is gone into the building. Ben cannot sleep. Who is this woman? What message? Why is her phone always dead? The next night, Ben is ready. When the woman arrives, he has a new plan. He has a small, powerful torch in his pocket. They arrive to 47 Mercury Lane. The woman pays with the same old money. She walks to the door. This time, Ben is quick. He turns off his taxi lights. He follows her. He is quiet. The door is open. Inside it is dark and dusty. Ben uses his torch. He sees an old reception desk. He sees broken chairs. He hears a sound upstairs. A click, click, click sound. Ben walks up the stairs. He is scared, but he must know. He sees a light under a door. He opens the door slowly. The room is empty except for one thing. On the floor there is an old computer. It is very old. The woman is there. She is typing on the keyboard. Click, click, click. The computer screen is bright. It is the only light. She is sending an email. Ben steps into the room. "What are you doing?" he asks. The woman turns. She is not surprised. "My phone does not work here. No signal. This is the only place, the only computer that works for me." "Why?" Ben asks. "I am sending a message to my sister," the woman says. 10 years ago we argued. I said terrible things. Then she was in an accident. She died. I never said sorry. I cannot rest." Ben understands. The woman is a ghost. She is tied to this world by her regret. "Did you send the message?" Ben asks. The woman looks at the screen. "Yes. Now it's done." She turns back to Ben. She smiles. For the first time, she looks peaceful. Then, slowly, she begins to fade. She becomes like smoke. Then she is gone. The computer screen goes dark. Ben stands alone in the quiet, dark room. He feels sad for the woman, but he is also glad for her. Her message was sent. Now she is free. Ben drives his taxi home as the sun comes up. He feels different. He thinks about messages we leave unsaid. He decides to call his brother. They have not spoken for a long time. It is time to send a message. Vocabulary notes. Uneasy, meaning feeling worried, anxious, or uncomfortable about a situation. You feel that something is not quite right. Example, he looks at the money. It is old and strange. He feels uneasy. Similar words. Nervous, more about fear or worry before something happens. Ben was nervous before the woman got in the taxi. Uncomfortable, can be physical or emotional. The chair was uncomfortable. He felt uncomfortable asking the question. Powerful, meaning having great strength, force, or effect. In the story, it describes a torch that is very strong and bright. Example, he has a small, powerful torch in his pocket. Similar words. Strong, a more general word for having power. He is very strong, a strong light. Bright, specifically for light. The sun is very bright. Signal, meaning a sign, sound, or action that carries information. In technology, it is the waves that allow phones, radios, and TVs to work. Example, my phone does not work here, no signal. Similar words. Connection, the state of being joined or linked, often used for phones and the internet. The internet connection is bad. Reception, another word for the quality of a radio, TV, or phone signal. The phone reception is poor in this building. Regret, meaning a feeling of sadness or disappointment about something you did or did not do in the past. Example, she is tied to this world by her regret. Similar words. Guilt, the feeling of having done something wrong. He felt guilt after telling a lie. Sorry, what you say or feel to apologize. I am sorry I was late. Fade, meaning to slowly become less clear, strong, or bright, to disappear slowly. Example, then, slowly, she begins to fade. She becomes like smoke. Similar words. Disappear, to go out of sight. It can be sudden or slow. The car disappeared around the corner. Vanish, to disappear suddenly and completely. My keys have vanished. I can't find them. Story written by DeepSeek. Image created by onemin.ai. To read all the story's content in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you. CC Music, drifting at 432 Hz, Unicorn Heads.
Have you ever thought about how a single message, or maybe a message that was never sent, could be so important it could hold a soul captive for a whole decade? Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today. We're going to deconstruct this really mysterious story about a taxi driver, his silent passenger, and a message that's been waiting 10 years to finally be sent. It's a simple tale on the surface, but wow, it's got this powerful kind of haunting core. So yeah, that's the big question right at the heart of this thing. For one taxi driver, what should have been just another routine fare on a rainy night, well, it takes a sharp turn into something truly strange, something you just can't explain. All right, so let's set the scene. We meet our protagonist, Ben. He's a seasoned taxi driver, knows his bright, sprawling city like the back of his hand. But on one particular rainy Tuesday night, his totally ordinary shift is about to become anything but. And right away, you see the stark contrast. I mean, you've got Ben. He's part of this vibrant, living city, trying to make a little small talk, like any cabbie would. But his passenger? She is the absolute opposite. A woman in a black coat with this really striking red hair, and she is utterly silent. Doesn't say a word. She just hands him a small white card with an address. And her phone, get this, it's always dark, a black mirror. a silent little vessel for messages that are never going to be sent or received. So this first ride is just packed with these little clues that something is off. The destination is this old, abandoned-looking office building, completely dark. She pays him with this strange old money, and when their hands touch for a second, hers is just cold. And then she just walks straight to that dark door and vanishes inside without even a glance back. Each detail is like a little breadcrumb leading down this mysterious path. And all of this, you can imagine, leaves Ben feeling deeply uneasy. It's not like he's terrified, not yet, but it's that nagging feeling, that persistent sense that something is just fundamentally wrong. The old money, the dark building, her silence, none of it adds up. Now, you might be thinking, okay, just a weird one-time fare, right? But no. This bizarre encounter was only the beginning of what turned into a strange and really unsettling new routine for Ben. For 5 nights in a row, the exact same thing happens. The same woman, the same card, the same destination, and the same chilling silence. This repetition totally transforms the story, doesn't it? It goes from being just a weird event to this haunting ritual. And you can just feel Ben's nervousness building with each passing night. So, by the 6th night, Ben just can't take the silence anymore. His curiosity, his anxiety, it all just gets the better of him. He decides he has to ask. And this moment, right here, is the turning point, where this whole mystery finally starts to unravel, just a little bit. He finally breaks that heavy silence and asks her, "Why do you go to that dark place?" And for the very first time, she speaks. Her voice is just this faint whisper, but her words are electric. "I have to send a message." But see, this one sentence doesn't solve the mystery at all. It just makes it so much deeper. And that whispered clue? Well, that's all it takes. Ben can't sleep. He's tossing and turning, thinking, who is she? What is this message? And why is her phone always dead? He realizes he can't just be the passive driver anymore. He has to find out the truth. So this leads him to cook up a little plan. The next night, he's ready. He drives her there, same as always, but this time, as she walks toward that door, he kills his lights, grabs a powerful flashlight, a torch, and quietly, carefully follows her into that abandoned building. The inside is exactly what you'd expect. It's totally derelict. Dark, a thick layer of dust on everything, and it's just littered with the ghosts of old office furniture. You can tell this place has been forgotten by time. As he's standing there in the silent lobby, he hears it, a noise from the floor above. It's faint, but it's distinct. Click, click, click. And even though he's scared, who wouldn't be? He has to know. He follows the sound up the stairs. And this is the climax of the story. Ben follows that clicking sound and sees this little sliver of light coming from under a door. He pushes it open, slowly, and what he finds inside is the answer to everything. The room is completely empty, except for one thing, a single ancient computer sitting on the floor. And there she is, bathed in the glow of its screen, typing. The clicking sound? It was a keyboard. Her modern phone was always silent because it was useless to her. She needed this old machine. When Ben confronts her, she finally explains it all. She's a ghost. 10 years ago, she had a terrible argument with her sister, but before she could apologize, her sister died. And she's been trapped ever since, unable to rest, driven by this overwhelming need to send one final message. And that's the true engine of this whole story: regret. This one feeling, this one powerful emotion, was strong enough to tether her to our world, forcing her to repeat the same journey night after night, all for the chance to say what she couldn't in life. So with her secret finally out in the open, we move into the story's resolution. Her long 10-year quest is finally about to come to an end. She looks at the screen and she says now it is done. And for the very first time since Ben met her, she smiles. A genuine, peaceful smile. You can just feel the weight of a decade of regret finally being lifted from her shoulders. And with her task complete, she begins to fade, to become like smoke, just slowly and gently disappearing right in front of him until she's gone completely. Her spirit is finally free. Ben is left alone in that dark, dusty room. But the experience, as you can imagine, changes him. Driving home as the sun starts to rise, he thinks about all the messages we leave unsaid in our own lives. And he immediately decides to call his brother, who he hasn't spoken to in a really long time. And this brings us to the very human lesson at the heart of this supernatural tale. It's a chilling reminder that our time to communicate, to apologize, to connect with people, it's finite. Some messages, they just can't wait. And that leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? The story isn't just about a ghost and a taxi driver. It's a mirror. It forces us to ask ourselves, what message have you left unsaid, and who needs to hear it from you today?